Now then, and welcome back to another episode of the NemGo Reborn on the NemGo server. Speaking of Patron servers, check this out. This is the servers we've got available at NemGo right now. NemGo server 1 is currently disconnected. We haven't got anything on it right now. It's for testing purposes and messing about. But server number 2, the NemGo Reborn pack, currently updated 2.2 or 0.2.2. We've got Sky Factory 4 has just joined the Patron servers. Sky Factory 4 now available for all the patrons, and who we've got on there in a minute, Gene Splicer and Famdale Shadow. And also on server 4, we've got Dungeons, Dragons and Space Shuttle, version 4.9. Nobody currently on there, but that's a very popular one. Lots of people have been doing that. But Sky Factory 4 just came out, and people are going to get some Sky Factory action. Sky Factory 4 already, wow. So when last we were here together, we were creating this central structure and the general shape and feel of this place, and I've modified it a little bit more since then. Added these flowers, these faint amaranths from Astral Sorcery. I found out that you could use shears and pick them up out of the ground and then actually use them instead of just getting glowstone for them. And I thought, wow, look at that. And they can be placed not on grass, as it were. So you don't need to plant them on grass or put them in plant pots. You can put them on stone as well, which makes them very, very nice for these kind of little jobs like this. I really like that. And then we've got glowstone down the middle with carpet on, lush purple carpet. And all that's looking very nice. Oh, yeah, and the iron trapdoors, just to add a nice little finish. Just adding a nice little finish. I think it's looking really, really good. I like it a lot. And then I've finished all the rooms as well and squared off all the rooms and put carpet in. I haven't put carpet in this side, but I've put carpet in almost every room. We'll come back to this one in a minute. Carpets down in the rooms, including some fancy carpets from Chisel, which are looking nice. And yeah, just general carpets over here. We started by decorating one of the rooms, didn't we? We had a little go with some tables, yeah. And so I'm going to carry on doing stuff like that for each of the office rooms, and each of the rooms can have its own little theme. This one is themed over here for the farming and progressive automation and the vanilla stuff. This will kind of be like a progressive automation office. And so we're going to get all of these kind of natural resources. All the woods, all the vanilla farming materials, basically. Progressive automation can do my vanilla farming for me. Because all these vanilla items are going to have certain qualities that we can use in magic spells, for essences, and for other things. Breeding creatures and the like to make more things happen in the future. And a little tool rack. Bibliocraft is featuring heavily in all this kind of stuff as well, just because it looks so nice. And I've even got a set of my farmer's gear, just in case I want to get changed into my farmer's gear before I do something. And I've been doing this drawer framing lark from the storage drawers mod. Very, very cool, very, very interesting. Allows you to put the sides, the face, the trim, all different textures to come up with some really cool things. Most of this, though, is all done with chisel and bits. This is a chisel and bits design over, what is a sea lantern? There was 3 or 4 sea lanterns I captured from one of the local Astral Sorcery places, and it is one layer of sea lantern put into the snow. So, like this block here, for instance, you can see that on the other side, it is still this block. Now, that looks a bit odd, doesn't it? I'm going to have to do something with that, but it's just proving a point for now. Look, the sea lantern is one edge of it in the chisel and bits. And so chisel and bits up like that, just to make an edge. I thought the edge looked kind of nice, kind of cute, kind of rural, yeah. And the banner up above, we've got that green, which we wanted to go with the green carpeted room, the green area, the green band. And there's some little item racks up there. So these little item racks from Tinker's Construct allow me to place things up there. Now, I just placed a load of fruit, just to do like a border of fruit. But actually, I'm going to end up putting other things on there as well in the future as we go. And then there's this little green carpet from Chisel and this green carpet from Chisel. There was a couple of those, so I decided to put one up on the wall for the creeper faces and so on. But the main thing that I've been working on just today, and it's been taking a long time, is setting up my wood farm. Now, there are bonsai hoppers in the game, and we locked them behind a paywall, We locked them so that we would have to sell lots and lots of things in order to gain the money, in order to then buy the bonsai tree hoppers, in order to make wood. But there's progressive automation in the pack as well, which allows us to set up certain things. And that's just recently been added. It's been recently added. So as you can see, I've done all the drawers for all of the items that I want to be harvesting. I actually want to utilize leaf blocks. So leaf blocks for each of the types are going in there, but as placeholders, I've got the planks as placeholders for now. And these at the top are framed trims. So they all connect together. So from here at the entry point, all the way through, and all the way along the top, and all the way through, they are connected storage drawers, all the way through the storage drawer system. And I'm going to have a little doorway here to go into the center of that, where we're going to have a little bit of automation going on. Now, there's a couple of things I want to automate. The whole function of this requires the tree farm to be working. And if we go down the green lift, we can come down to this level. This section, I'll show you quickly, the underside of that. And currently this, I don't know what to call it yet. I don't know if it's going to be like the power chamber, the central area where I put some sort of power core. I would like it to be magical power, but I don't think I can do magical power on the grandest scale that I need to power everything. So let's just let this load in. Now I've built this tree farm going on over here. So we've got the tallest trees at the back and the shortest trees at the front, and they're just missing the acacia trees, which I've got to set up over there. But this is how I want it to look. I started by wanting the oak trees to be limited by 6 high. I don't know if you know the different heights, but there's a thing, right? So including the sapling at the lowest level, there needs to be 6 blocks for an oak tree to grow. That's from the sapling, 6 blocks up, and then it can be capped off. That's where oak saplings grow. It is 7 for birch, 8 for dark oak, 8 for acacia, and then on these guys, on the big ones of these spruce at least, right? So the massive like redwood spruce, it can go all the way up to 32, and I believe the jungle wood can go quite high as well. But the minimum distance you need is 15 for these to go 2 high, or 2x2s. The 2x2s can go 15 high minimum, and then the individuals can go like I think it's 7 or 8, something like that, for individuals to grow around them. And the jungle's pretty much the same, only I think there's a minimum of 12 for jungle, which is why you can see some of these are a little bit shorter. A little bit shorter because they're a minimum of 12 for the jungle trees to grow. And I did not expect that to happen. When I built this, I was not planning on things like that happening. Nah, that could be a problem. Oh well, it'll be a feature. It'll add to the feature. One of the features that I did put in was pathways all the way up here. Now that's kind of a waste in these progressive automations, because progressive automation range upgraders, they start from like here and go 1. That's the first one you get for free. Then 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. So 7 extra. You need to put like 7 of these upgrades in just to go around the first layer. Then it goes 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and blah, 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 blah. And I've made it with 80 so that we just get a little 3x3 area covered just out here. So that's a 9x9 in total for 80. 9x9 for 80, right? Now that's a nice neat shape, and I wanted to have this so that when the farm is turned off, at the minute it's turned off because there are no axes, right? I should never run out of charcoal, right? I should never run out of charcoal, but axes I should be able to turn off. So when there's no axes for these tree farms, then the trees are just sitting there, grown up and waiting to be chopped down. Looking nice, so it's more like a thing there I can come through and I can walk in. Now, obviously the oaks don't want that to happen quite as much as some of the others. I'm going to have to break my way through the oaks. But the most of them, like look at the birch. The birch want me to walk under nicely. The birch agree with basic principles. The birch are possibly the nicest trees in Minecraft for farming and being mechanically sound. Potentially the youngest. The oaks, they just go all over the place. kind of the original why I did a 6 high here, because I didn't want just massive oaks that were taking over the place. So then I decided to do all of them with roofs on to try and limit their production, limit their growth. It won't limit the amount of wood I get based on it being a server and the like, but it will limit the amount of area that we're covering. It'll make it look a little bit nicer, and that's what it did. Made it look a little bit nicer. So this farming area is going to get bigger and bigger. I'm going to put another acacia wood one there, and then... Oh, hi Enderman. I've got an Enderman in here. Is that Enderman eating up all my grass? Did I not finish this section? Or have you taken this grass? You can't have taken all this grass. Must have been me doing half a job. Must have done half a job. Okay, so that's fine, that's fine. Yeah, I'm going to end up having some crop farms and like cactus and melons and pumpkins and all of those different farming things for the future, for all the magic mods, so that I've got everything I need, including all 16 shades of wool as well, which is another thing. And I might have some flower farms and stuff growing on here. Depends on what we get up to in the future. But one of the key ingredients are these ender chests, as you can see down here. So this ender chest is on black, and that's going to have the charcoal coming in, and then that goes out and underneath to all of the farm blocks in order to give it charcoal. And this on the green channel is going to have axes in, which will feed all of these from underside to the axes, you see. So the piping is very, very simple. The piping is very, very simple. It has just simply got some of these item ducts opaque under and into each one. So we get this kind of thing going on with the spruce, but I don't mind it. I don't mind it. It's a feature now. It's part of it. It's okay. But yeah, we just got this beautiful corridor that I took ages digging out and smoothing over just to make sure that it was perfect. And it's lit from the flare lanterns above, amazingly so. The flare lanterns go through blocks. It's crazy, I know. But that's the way it works. It works so that they go through the blocks. So they light all the corridors below it, which is really awesome. But we need to do a little bit more automation towards this now. So you may have seen me do a lot of this before, but it's fairly simple. Fairly simple. I'm using the progressive automation crafters though, which I don't think I've had available before. I've done other things instead, or I've shown you me doing other things instead. The majority of it all works nicely within an area though. This should have emptied out. It's getting closer and closer to being emptied out. I'm going to have to put some more upgrades in there very soon to sort that out. And then void upgrades as well. What I want to do is I want to take the wood from any one of these, and I was thinking that wood from the jungle wood would probably be the best to start with. Right? Jungle wood, and put it into this system here. Now, I think I probably want to change this around a little bit because it's been doing my head in a bit. Let's go that on the floor. Yeah. That then connects to the trim up here, and I'll put an item transfer on the top and bottom because it'll be faster. It'll work a lot better. It'll be faster. So this, I could put upgrades on it very quickly and easily, and it'll just fire it up into this and then get that sorted. That's great. This now I'll put into there somehow. In a bit, I'll change that around. But I want to take the jungle wood and convert it into axes, and I think I'll take the I'll take the spruce wood because they're the two largest ones and turn that into charcoal. So here we are then. This is now fully automated, all set up, lots of charcoal being produced. Lots and lots of axes, wooden axes being produced, and also we have a load of wooden hose being produced over this side. All ready for the farms down below. We've got a colour coordinated ender chests. We have each one marked out so I can remember which colours for which. The charcoal will be used mostly all around, all over the place, and these two, the axe and the hoe, will be used just in the area down below, I should think. But the charcoal, yeah, that's going to get used in all sorts of different processes throughout the magical mods as well. So it was important to get this set up early. Also, it should set up for a steam engine type deal for power supply. So what we got going on, right? We're dragging the spruce straight out of here and up and delivering it along the top of a load of vanilla furnaces. I went vanilla furnaces because they don't require any power other than charcoal. So if I'd set up a powered furnace, then I'd have to put the charcoal and water into a steam engine in order to do power first in order to make it work. Whereas this way around, I can just loop the outputs. So the charcoal outputs on the bottom of each of these furnaces and goes into the charcoal chest, and then from the charcoal chest it goes up and into the back of all the furnaces, where it then fills this slot here. So the top slot, the back slot, and the bottom slot have always got something connected and sorted out within this little loop. This then also feeds these machines, the progressive automation crafters, on both sides. Pretty much they're both the same. I'll bring over this side so it's a bit easier to see everything. So we're taking a wood. Any wood would do, but this one we're taking birch, and over that side we're taking jungle wood. And the first place we'd go in is we're taking it into a crafter, and we're turning it into planks. It's quite simply, you put the recipe in this side, it tells you what you're going to get, and then you put fuel in there, and the resources go in there, and it starts making them as fast as it can fill that slot in the corner there. Now, that needs to be taken out from the back, which it does here, and then off from the bottom, should I say. That gets taken out through the bottom, like a furnace, and that moves along the chain. So we could pull it out from there, and then it's taken and putting the planks into here, where it's making sticks. I've put cobblestone in here to prevent the pattern from changing, so that I've always got a couple of set of planks in there, nothing else really. I don't really need to overload it. And then those sticks get pulled out and come over to this side, where they come into here. Yeah. So we've got them planks and sticks coming into here, again keeping that pattern nice and secure so that the wooden hoe can be made. And then I've got, this is the key ingredient here, I've got a little lever and a redstone high requirement, so that if I want to turn all the farms off and stop the hoes being produced, I can just turn this off. This servo will stop pulling them out. This will then stay backed up and backlogged, and we will build up a backlog which will void off any excess stock of birchwood and any additional hoes, or on the other side of course axes, will remain stable. Now I added a little extra thing here because I made a few extra hoes when I was developing this system the first time round, so I currently got this to empty into the chest before I turn that back on to refill the chest permanently. So the gardens are all running smoothly, all the farming's all working nicely. These crafters are pretty good. They just require a little bit of power, and you set the crafting recipe. The problem I find is that the difference in sides. Like with a thermal expansion machine, you get to set sides of where inputs and outputs, and on these ones, not so much. It's very difficult to set the sides. So it's very much like a vanilla furnace style, with inputs and outputs. Much more difficult to keep up with. But I get there, we get there. And so now we've got all of these axes in there, hose in there, and charcoal in there just for this little setup. And I've started boxing it in, getting it ready. Now downstairs we've got that supply going to all of these different tree farms. The charcoal going to all, as we say, it's all done, all sorted. I tried changing this around. I've put chisel bits blocks here, but after running it for a while I see that the problem is always still going to be there. So I'm going to have to change this design out a little bit again. Not really sure how I'm going to change it. Maybe bring it out one or two more and bring it down out to this side maybe. Maybe bring it so far away that the trees can't possibly interact with it and break it like that. But I was trying that as a design just to see what it looked like, and I put in the other tree farm over there, over the far side, the acacia tree farm, and now that's up and running as well, and we're making acacia wood. And that, it looks okay like that, doesn't it? It looks okay. Kind of like it, looks alright. And we're filling up this quite nicely. Also got all of the crops now growing. The crops over here, we've got working down in this area. We've got cactus, which set up in an area range of 9. Just focuses on these few places. Now, I'll put water next to them, just so that it was the same as the sugarcane. Not because I wanted water next to them. And that is the grass grown up there, so we can just quickly turn that into path as well. There we go. And turn that into mutton. Yep. I don't know how he escaped. He's probably been bred around there a bit while ago. So yeah, down here we've got the sugarcane being produced. Again, it's just 9 range. Still the hoe and the charcoal. And then the sugarcane's filling up in this box at the minute. I've not extracted from these two because they'll basically turn off when they've got filled up. And as I don't have a particular use for sugarcane right now, just having 9 stacks inside the crop planter means I can come and get some stuff for when I want paper, whenever I want it, directly from the farm. These ones, however, are automatically being pulled out from in below. We've got this little setup here. So the input needs to be at the side of these planters, but they need to be under the soil, so that the first space is right directly above the planter. And then I did a range of 9 again, so that it does a little 3x3 area above it, including the one immediately above it. But then I didn't have to put a servo on this, because it automatically tries and outputs onto the inventory below. And this pipe counts as an inventory below, which then of course comes straight down into here. But I haven't yet set up the drawers to extract these 4 types of vegetable. I think I said fruit earlier, but vegetable, yes. These 4 types of vegetable all come out of there. And that is looking pretty good right now. The next thing I want to set up though is setting up this sheep farms. So we've got these animal farmers, and there are a couple of different uses for the animal farmers. There is a shearing animal farmer. Well, they basically start with breeding. You can breed them with wheat, and that will breed animals, and then you can have an animal killer, which will kill the animals. But we're just breeding them and taking their wool, so we have a shearing upgrade. There is also, I believe, a progressive automation upgrade for shearing and milking. Let's see. Adult mob filter, player filter, milker upgrade. There we go. So there's a milking upgrade which milks the milks the cows, I'm guessing that also then puts it into some kind of tank. So while I don't need a lot of milk right now, I will set up this as an automation at some point so that we've got access to milk whenever we want it. And then the shearing upgrade is what we're going to be using on these 2. Or I've actually had 3 with shearing upgrades on them for a little while. Now all I need to do is turn each of these sheep into the 16 different colours of wool. And then they can produce and put into that ender chest above, which then goes upstairs. I got another room upstairs now. This room on the side here, between this farming area and what will be the Botania area. This will be the Botania area. I chose that because of all the different flowers and petals and turning into dyes. So this is like going to be the dyeing room. And with the dye room, we've got all of this wool all kicking around. And that's where this chest comes out. So all of the wool will come into here, get put away into the storage drawers. Each one of these is maxed out capacity-wise with 1 emerald upgrade. And I'm thinking that that's probably going to be enough storage. I don't think I'm going to void them off either. I've got another little idea for pulverizing any excess stock so that any excess then gets pulverized down into its dye components. There's a thermal expansion dye or processing something or other. But you can change these into dyed versions anyway. In a pulverizer, we can get this pigment from thermal expansion. There's a 15% chance you get some string, you get some pigment. So any excess wool will end up getting put in there. But I do need to put shears into this system in order to make the them work in the first place. I haven't decided whether I want to automate making shears, because shears aren't exactly cost effective. They're going to cost me a lot of iron or a lot of something. I can't make shears out of wool, so that doesn't work, and I can't make wooden shears in this pack, so that doesn't work. But one of the main things I wanted to get all that charcoal set up for was to start making some power for the base. Well, we're going to need a fair amount of power, and we can't keep relying on the stuff that's getting produced over on the tech side. So, I kind of wanted to make some towering engine type things. Let's go with simply putting this up through the middle. And I think we can aim these at it. Yep, aim these at it. So we'll go with on the 3 sides for now. Yeah, well actually we'll go on 2 sides. That way I can add another row if I need to. And also get the water in behind. So we'll put all of these on these first few. I can always add more then, can't I? Really? The first one's placed perfectly, and now these ones want to place the wrong way around. I should be able to knock them with that though. Yeah, there we go. So I'm going to set that up like so, and have them all updated and upgraded. There we go. If I shift click against it, it goes in the direction I want it to. Well, that's something different. Alright, and I made quite a few of that so that I could get that going and sorted. Now we're going to need a water supply, which I'm going to bring in from this side. Let's go here. And I'm going to need a coal supply, which I think I'm going to bring in from the other side. So I'd have that on this side over here. Or shall I have that up the back? Might have that up the back actually. Take these out. Put that in the middle. And then run that up between them. Yeah, that's an idea. So I'll set this up with the power cables running all the way through and the dynamos up the sides, and then get some water pumping out and going up the corner, and then have the coal going up the sides, wrapping up around the sides. Gonna need a few more cables and wires to get that done though. Didn't bring enough down with me. Okay, here we go then. So the very basics all set up. We'll just have that automatically removing, and that pulling out from there, and then we've got the water being pulled out that way. So they should all start being full of water and start getting full of charcoal as well pretty soon. Yeah, it is already pulling out from inside there. So this will only take 8 at a time. So that'll just start filling up the first one, and then that'll start producing RF very quickly. This should be on 40 RF per tick at the moment. And these lead stones can carry 1,000 per tick. So that's pretty good at the minute. I did also bring all these upgrades so that I could upgrade these, get them to a hardened state, and then get them to a reinforced state. That way that they will be producing 80. And if I put some augmentations in, which I've also got a couple of those, the auxiliary transmission coils, increased output, will put them up to 240 RF per tick, right? Which will then get sucked up and into the system that way. So this is going to be slowly but surely upgrading power in here. But it all stems from the charcoal farm of progressive automation just to begin with, just to get us going, so that then we can always have a backup supply. We always make the charcoal first through vanilla and progressive automation means, and then that charcoal gets turned into the first bit of power here, and then this first bank of power can then be used via various flux plugs and points and flux storage in order to make power arrive around everyone else's areas all across, all over the place. Set it up as Nemsun's network there. Look, now we're buffering up into that like so. Pretty good. And we just put one of these on the top here. I think we just put a point on the top. Now I think I'm going to take this up to the ceiling so it's a full on. But for now we've got to put a plug on the end so that it goes into the network there. There we go. So it will start inputting all the RF into the network there, and so on, all the way through. Keep this filled up nicely, keep this stored up nicely, and then I can use these points to pull from the system into various different locations all around my base when I need them in the future. So that's just a start. That's just a start, a power base start here. I would like to do some stuff with the magic mods. Trying to figure out how magic mods can make RF and then make it into a grand scale here will be great. But I do need some basic RF production, and that's where this is going to be for the foreseeable future, for the few machines that I will need, and particularly an applied energetics system. But that is all we got time for in today's episode. Thank you all very, very much for watching another episode of NemGo Reborn. I will see you in the next very soon. Don't forget to check out the links in the description and catch Ego's live streams on, well, weekdays at 10. Thanks for watching.